a one-man band out there. Behind his seat, and he's coming. This is a make-or-break season for him. He's got to make an impact. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Friday, December 8th. I know you guys are excited for the weekend, as I am, but before we talk about what we're going to get into, the NFL, what's going on, backup quarterbacks, transitions, let's welcome our co-host, the guy we just brought on for our third live show. More than happy and excited. I'm going to pull this up right now. Still getting used to a lot of technical functionality. Welcome to the show, guys. Brent Chapman.
Yeah, I'll never get over the clapping. I love it. It's great. But it's three shows. I think that means I'm in, right? I'm doing great.
We're clapping for you. A lot of people that are watching this and yesterday's show sent me a lot of messages, obviously about the Jets and everything, but they said, Brent Chapman, I Googled him, I looked him up. Who's this guy? I see a lot about him now. Guys, if you're first time watching, you don't know, Brent Chapman is the founder of My NIL Pay. Helps a lot of people, obviously, with college, getting them opportunities. They get paid on his platform. We are so excited to have him, not just because of that, because his experience at the level of sports, knows a lot, especially comes down to details and knowledge of players, stats. Sometimes he surprises me. So we're going to get right into this. I know we're going to talk about a lot of other stuff, other games that happen, but more importantly right now, Brent, what I want to talk about is the Steelers. I mean, there's a lot of malfunctions or dysfunction, if you want to call it, but I'm confused about the Steelers. I got a couple of pictures to pull up. Obviously, heading into the season, Kenny Pickett, again, coming back, obviously a Pitt guy. They wanted him there. They liked him. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, Brent, but what I am saying is he an NFL? Is he really an NFL quarterback? And did they take him because he was at Pitt? What do you think about what he's done there and his success, obviously, now that he's injured as well?
Yeah, I think when you look at NFL quarterbacks, you got your top tier guys, which are, Mahomes and Josh Allen and a few others, right? And then you've got guys that probably shouldn't be starting, and then you got some guys in the middle, right? I think Kenny Pickett is one of the guys in the middle. I mean, he's still a young kid, but the thing I liked about him coming out was he played 52 games at Pitt. He was there 5 years, right? He threw for over 12,000 yards. So he has the experience. Now he just needs to, adapt to the game, and I think he's done a good job. They brought in Mitch Trubisky to be the guy there, at least to pass the torch. And Kenny Pickett came in last year and played decent and had some injury stuff. And now I think he's been playing well this year. They've been doing great. We saw what happened without him yesterday, right? It was like there was no offense.
I mean, and exactly what you just said. I mean, he's a Pitt guy. So it's almost like they were so comfortable, obviously, in conversation. He's right next door. I went to Pitt. I know how it is. You're connected from college to the NFL. It's a connected, literally, location. I mean, the building is connected. You come over and you eat food. You eat your training table right in the same facility. So the obvious, wow. The answer for the Steelers was he's comfortable. I mean, that leads us into the realistic approach to this. The head coach is there. What's their relationship like? He's hurt. And is Mike Tomlin now starting to skate on thin ice? Because he's been there for a long time. He's one of the most winning coach. He's done a great job, Brent. But the problem that I see is now the Steelers fans are getting upset. I mean, they're booing. I'm going to pull this clip up in a second. But
Relax.
Their quarterback, that's
tell
in now.
Tell those terrible towel waving guys to relax. Just relax. It'll be okay.
But this is
Brandon,
what you're looking at.
Do you know how many coaches the Steelers have had in the history of their organization? Do you know how many?
I don't know how many.
3.
Well, there's your
3.
answer. Yeah. I like
it. And so Mike Tomlin, look, Bill Cowher was there 20 years, right? And then Mike Tomlin came in. Like, they know what they're doing. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. I've heard he's a great human being, right? He's gonna get these guys around. Like, dude, he's had seasons where the Steelers' talent was terrible, and still somehow they make the playoffs, right? I think the Steelers are a team that's improving, but they're not where they were in the past, right? They still got talent issues, and they got to come back. But the Steelers fans should know better than anyone to relax and that they'll figure it out and get it together, because historically that's been the case.
But how many quarterbacks can you go through in a season? I mean, your team, and I understand that they're frustrated. They were worried about Kenny Pickett. You know, after Roethlisberger, they said, okay, Kenny Pickett's the guy. He comes in. Mason Rudolph, right? They liked him. They didn't like him. Then it was, okay, let's try Kenny Pickett. Then you got Trubisky. I mean, there's a circle here. And I know Kenny Pickett is their guy right now. But now that he's injured, and whether or not he'll be there for the future or not, which we're going to go into, I'm watching this play, and I have it on loop for people to see. This is a couple things. A lack of confidence has to show forth here. Lack of confidence. He didn't play all that bad. I mean, he came back, but they want to win. The terrible towels, if I put the volume on right now, it would be embarrassing for Trubisky on here. He already has it probably all over coverage of ESPN, ABC, Fox Sports, with FS1. The boos from the stadium and the terrible towels, the terrible towels were not waving in a way that people wanted to. And so,
that's Mitch Trubisky, dude. He was picked 8 spots ahead of Patrick Mahomes. He's great.
I mean, but look at this.
Like, I don't know, like, what the Bears were thinking, right? But, I think, Mitch Trubisky is what Mitch Trubisky is. He's going to be in the league probably for many years as a backup quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with that, right?
That's a great role. People do not understand.
But he's not. He's not.
But look at this
he's
right
not
here.
Making big-time throws like that.
You got Kenny Pickett in college, who watching him, okay, he played well. He was a good player. He broke records. He did a lot. But no matter what you do at the college level, depending on your strength of schedule, who you have on your team, what's going on in that season, people really don't understand. High school to college is a big transition. Everyone on your team is athletic. Everyone has ability. Every quarterback can throw. Every quarterback probably broke records at their high school. If they're playing at Pitt, if they're playing at Ohio State or Michigan or whatever you want to call it. And I won't go into Florida State right now because that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people. But when you get to the NFL, you're expected to play well. And I said this before on another live. Play well and play well now. This isn't like you're in the NFL. Let's work through this year. Let's work through next year. That's what backups do. So a lot of people are like, oh, he's the backup quarterback. We don't expect him to win this season. Let's just get through this year. So when they play well, people are like, oh, he's great. Let's keep him in. And when they don't play well, people are like, come on, it's obvious. He's a backup quarterback. But the Steelers do not care. They don't care at this point. And there are like a few other teams as well that were on ice too. But they have backup quarterback after backup quarterback. They do not care. They want to win now. Who do they want in there? Do they really want Kenny Pickett? They're chanting Mason Rudolph. That's what they've been saying. Mason Rudolph. They've been chanting, booing Trubisky. Do they want him or do they want Kenny Pickett?
I think Kenny Pickett is like I said, is proven, some success this year. And I mean, look, I don't know if any 3 of those guys are going to be your quarterback for the next 10 years, but I guess your best bet right now is Kenny Pickett. So I would be, once he gets back from this ankle injury, that's what I would be riding if they're them. So, but let's take a step back and ask ourselves, what do Steelers fans really care about? What are they really upset about today? They're upset they're out of the playoff seeding as it stands right now. That's what they're upset about. They're 8th right now.
They got beat by the Patriots.
Last night's game. They don't care if they were 5th or 7th or 6th, right? They'd be fine, right? All right, we're still in. They're mad that they got bumped out, and the games haven't even played this weekend yet, right? So
that's right.
So when you look at the playoff seeding, though, again, I feel like I keep saying this, and I grew up in the Midwest, so I know lots of Pittsburgh fans. They're very passionate. They need to relax, right? You got a long way to go, and you got a lot of teams in that mix that aren't very good. From the 1 seed at 9 wins to the 11 seed at 6 wins, that's only 3 wins in between, right? And we're talking about you can go from 9 to 5 in one weekend at this point, right? And you got Cleveland and Indianapolis and Houston and Denver, and these aren't good teams, right? So if you're in that mix, you've got an opportunity. So Pittsburgh fans, fans of all these teams, Buffalo fans, they just need to relax and go win games, and they'll be in the playoffs and they'll be fine.
This is what is hysterical to me, right? Obviously, Trubisky starts the game. He's in the game, and I'm going to explain this play a little more in detail. This is lack of reps. This is a lack of working with the ones. And now that he's been there, now obviously Kenny Pickett's out for several weeks. But this is just a lack of camaraderie with the organization right now. But the boos are coming. This is what I don't understand. Trubisky's in the game. He has a bad possession. The immediate boo. It's 0-0. I mean, it could be whatever you want. I mean, they could be down by 3. It could be 0. They're booing him immediately. When your fan base, they're the ones that are keeping your franchise alive. They're the ones that are paying to come to every single home game. They're traveling. They keep your business intact. If you own a business, if you own a Subway, and people are coming to ordering food, and they're booing your food, you got to get new food, or you're going to be out of business.
That's right.
I mean, that's the reality of it. The reality is they don't want him there. Then all of a sudden, this is what happens. And I played at Pitt. I loved it. Had a great experience. But at the end of the day, they're all of a sudden booing him. And then he has a good possession. They're waving those damn flags.
I know, like, I'm telling you, dude.
I knew he was so good. And then you got people, Trubisky, they're chanting his name. The same people that are like, Mason Rudolph. It's like, what the hell is going on? I mean, literally, are they having too many drinks, or is it just, what have you done for me lately again?
As a fully accredited member of Bill's Mafia, I get it, right? I mean, we love our team, and we're gonna give you hell when you make a bad pass, and we're gonna love you when you throw a touchdown 2 plays later. I mean, that's what it's about. That's what's the passion of these cities like this. And Pittsburgh and the terrible towel and the Steelers fans are of the same ilk. So, I mean, look, it's like I said, they're fine. If they make the playoffs, everything will be good. Mike Tomlin isn't going anywhere. He's proven success. He'll get the most out of what he has, whether it's Trubisky or Pickett or what's the other guy's name? Mason, the helmet guy, Mason Rudolph. Right? Like, it doesn't matter.
I thought you were going to say Tomlin. The guy. I was like, okay. So listen, this they're out of the playoffs. Well, currently, right? And I'm looking at this. I'm saying, okay. The bigger picture right now, does, Mike Tomlin believe in Kenny Pickett to come back and play this season, next season? Is he his guy? Then it goes larger than that, right? Do the Steelers still want Mike Tomlin to be their guy? Because this is a trickle-down effect. Because whoever comes into this picture right now, I don't care what anybody says. If a new coach shows up in town, all bets are off. And we're talking, defensive players have some safe positions. Running backs have some safe positions. You got some receivers, but that new energy, that new relationship, I will tell you, first and foremost, the relationship with the head coach, the offensive coordinator, your quarterback coach, and your quarterback runs the whole team. I mean, they have meetings. If you're not, too familiar, even in college, even probably now in high school, they have meetings every single day. And when they're in there, the coach and the quarterback, they're in there before the whole team. Then you have position meetings. And you're like, wait a second, why does my quarterback already know all this? Like, I remember I would show up in Pittsburgh, in college, into the position meeting. And I'm like, okay, we're installing a new play. Here's a new play, Brent. And, it's called whatever we're going to do, a lead draw or a play action pass or whatever. And I'm like, how the hell does my quarterback already know this play? I mean, we just installed this, and that's because he was there an hour ago. Like, he already went over this. And so that relationship of the new coach that may or may not come in if this happens, and obviously Kenny Pickett, this is a lot happening in the NFL right now for a lot of teams.
Yeah, so first of all, that's great insight, and I think anyone listening, including myself, loves to hear you give that sort of what it's like in the locker room, in the meeting room. That's what if you didn't play at that level, you don't understand that. You don't get what these guys are doing and that immediate sort of recall they have to have. Let me reiterate the Mike Tomlin thing. Mike Tomlin is going to be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. I want to tell you this, okay? Chuck Noll, 1969 to 1991. Bill Cowher, 1992 to 2006. Mike Tomlin, 2007 to 2023. Mike Tomlin is not going anywhere, bro.
You know, Steelers fans obviously must love him. I don't hear a lot about, firing Mike Tomlin. I mean, I'm hearing a little bit now in the media because people want to win. And it's like, if your quarterback isn't good, we're going to draft a quarterback next year. We're going to do that. They start believing in the coach. We're going to get a quarterback. People start believing in what's happening in the draft class, 2024. This is going to be great. We have the whole team. We need the quarterback. When you start circling through quarterbacks, people start questioning more people. And this is obvious, not only with the Steelers, it's with the Jets. I just went over that yesterday. Aaron Rodgers in the game. He's gone. Zach Wilson's back. He's gone. Someone else in the game. Okay, we're putting Zach Wilson back in the game. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. Oh, he's not. He's fighting an injury a lot faster than we thought. Who is your quarterback? He can't play 1 week, not next week, play one. The team has no idea who to believe in. And the camaraderie is the biggest word I use all the time. Because in high school, you could be a star player. You could be the best player in the state. You could be the 10th best player in the state. And you could really run the show, a lot like basketball, if you're the top player in high school. When you get to college, things change drastically. You need multiple players. A quarterback and a receiver can impact a game, right? Yeah. So they can impact the game. So now we talk about the Jets. Let's talk about the Patriots. The Patriots obviously are in the same conversation. Tom Brady's gone. Mac Jones steps in. We'll talk about Garoppolo another time because I don't think he was bad at all. Then he had a roller coaster career so far with injuries. But Tom Brady's gone. Here comes Mac Jones. Now, I like Mac Jones. I happen to think that he's a good player. I think that his morale and motivation is dropping every single game. I mean, he played under Nick Saban just like everybody else. Jalen Hurts, Tua, they produce quarterbacks at this point, whether you like Alabama or not. A lot of people don't like Alabama now because of the whole Florida State issue, but that's a problem. But what do you think about two things, Brent? Obviously, Mac Jones, and I want your input after that on Bill Belichick.
Yeah, so this is easy for me, like when you're the fan of a team against another team, right? So ask me, Brent, when you see Mac Jones on your schedule twice a year, are you scared? No. No, I'm not. I'm like, Mac Jones is fine, but I think the thing you got to consider with the Patriots is they were so good for so many years of cultivating talent. And I'm telling you, like, the thing about the NFL that's so hard is you get a 4-year window when you've got a couple good players under rookie contracts. And as soon as you have to start paying your top guys, you have to, it goes to a different level and it becomes very difficult to maintain it. So the Chiefs are a great example of a team that was able to say, we're going to pay these 4 top guys. We're going to pay Patrick Mahomes $50 million a year and still maintain a level of success. Why? They let Tyreek Hill go. They let top players go.
Which was crazy, by the way, to a lot of people.
Yeah, you've got to be able to keep refilling. And so what, like Cincinnati's in deep trouble. And the Bills GM said it best at the end of last year. He said, great, yeah, I'm not worried about Cincinnati until I see what they can do when they have to pay Jamar Chase and Burrow the same amount that I have to pay Diggs and Allen, right? Right now you're paying them $10 million combined. I'm paying $90 for my 2 guys. So this isn't even fair. Right now, let's see what happens. And we're seeing it. Cincinnati is hurting, and they still have those guys on rookie contracts, right? So it's very difficult in the NFL. And what Bill Belichick was so great at doing for so many years was doing what the Chiefs are doing now, which is keeping that talent level up. You have a few core players that you pay a lot of money to, and you keep that talent level high, and you can keep bringing them in and recycling them in. And it's just not there. It's not there right now. So I don't really know how good Mac Jones is. I just know he doesn't have a lot around him. And I think that's the real issue with the Patriots and why they've won 3 games.
And you said this too, but Tom Brady, now that he's gone and moved on, he actually showed, if you ask me, when he left, I was like, he's the best quarterback in football. He's the best quarterback of all time to a lot of people, and probably to 99% of the world. But he put a stamp on it when he got to Tampa Bay. When he got to Tampa Bay and he won another Super Bowl, I don't care who he brought in, because the NFL is full of great players. I know he brought Gronkowski with him, full of injuries, on and off the field. But they won another Super Bowl. That shows very quickly how important Tom Brady was to the Patriots. And that's an obvious statement. It's easy to sit back and go, yeah, Tom Brady's the best. Everybody can jump on that bandwagon, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying the truth is he was that good. And now Bill Belichick, watching him on the sidelines, there's a few coaches that can do this. I started looking at it going, this might be a good game. The Steelers have a good record without their quarterback. Are they really a good football team right now? How's the organization looking right now? Not so good. So playing yesterday against the Patriots, I was like, this is going to be a good game. And I was looking forward to seeing it. Yeah, but I really want to say this. Bill Belichick is one of those coaches, even though may or may not be on his way out, kind of in a similar position like Mike Tomlin, but might be there still for a long time. Who knows? But they will themselves to wins.
Yeah. Brandon, let me ask you this question. And I think this is the issue with the Patriots more than an individual Tom Brady leaving is, and you can speak to this well because you've been in this situation, is what about the culture of the leaders in the locker room? So Tom Brady was a great player, and now I've said this on every show I've been on with you. He's still one of 22, right? And so that can only do so much. Like you can only fill so much when you're one of 22, right?
Or at least one of 11.
Yeah, one of 11. That's right. But what did Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski and those guys mean to the leadership and the culture in the locker room? I wonder if that's more their issue now than it is Bill Belichick or not Tom Brady and all that. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
Leadership, Brent, and I like that question a lot. But leadership is important. I think it's instilled, on you when you're younger also. Even through high school to college, you have that morale. You have that ability to. There's a lot of guys that are extremely vocal, and there's guys that are not vocal. Like Trevor Lawrence is probably. I couldn't be motivated to put my cleats on with Trevor Lawrence. That's the truth. I couldn't even get motivated, but I love watching him play. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks right now. Obviously hurt. I love who he is. Watch him as a person. I love who he is as a teammate. I love who he is on and off the field because he's a professional. At Clemson, he was a professional. I mean, even with this relationship, you can say he's a professional. The guy's a great guy. But it starts younger. And the thing is, to answer that question is, Tom Brady was a leader for a long time, even though he didn't go first or second round. When he got to the Patriots, he was respected. And people should hear this. He was respected in the locker room, off the field, on the field. He was respected by coaches. He was respected by fans. He was respected by the media. And when you have all of that, your locker room has no choice. And it used to be cool to be the bad guy. It was cool for the guys to come in and be like, I'm the bad guy, I'm the tough guy. Now it's like, look, I'm a leader. I'm a professional. And guys like Tom Brady and guys like Gronkowski in the locker room, they had their fun. But when it was time to, to put your pads on, put your cleats on, they meant business and they won games. So I think overall, being a leader and being vocal is great. You get people hyped up. It comes down to, unfortunately, people might think it's winning and losing. Are you winning games? And the more you win games, the more you can speak to people, and you don't got to be loud and obnoxious. You can say, look, this is the reality, and this is what we're going to do. And you become a coach. And those people are very few and far between. And we're talking Tom Brady. We're talking Peyton Manning. We're talking guys like that. We're talking back in the day, guys like Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. We're talking these players, and there isn't many players like that right now. I think Patrick Mahomes has built winning, but he's still, in my eyes, he's a great quarterback. Love watching him. One of the best I've ever seen. But when Tom Brady gets in the game, there's a different respect. When Peyton Manning gets in the game, there's a different respect. And that's the length of the career, right? That's proven it for year in and year out. And then before I want you to add to that, Jalen Hurts is also another quarterback who's earned a lot of respect in Philadelphia, right? But in college, I loved what he did. He said, look, you're not going to play me. You're going to play Tua. That's fine. He showed nothing but love and respect, especially, what we can see as viewers. showed a lot of respect, left the team respectfully, balled out respectfully, and now in the NFL, he's respected. I just don't compare him to people yet like Tom Brady and these guys because of the length of the career.
So you remember the famous comment by Bill Parcells, right? If you're gonna make me cook the meal, let me shop for the groceries, right? And I think that's a great analogy, because what it does is it talks about, there are ingredients to a Super Bowl or playoff caliber team, right? And things that you need to do to be at the level there. And I think what you're talking about is an important ingredient that people forget, right? They look at that. You got to have the great quarterback, right? You got to have a good coach, right? You got to have talented players. But so with the Patriots, you removed the great quarterback, you kept the great coach, you lost talent on the players. But I think that fourth ingredient that you're talking about is you've got to have the culture in the locker room. You also lost that senior leadership and all those guys that knew how to do it. And now you're this young team, and Bill Belichick isn't in the locker room motivating the guys, right? And so I think that's a big piece of the ingredients that they don't have right now. Yes, the talent is not as great as it was. And look, Bill Belichick's proven he can fix that. He has the longest, greatest, and that's really hard for a Bills fan to say, but it's true. Facts are facts. It's one of the greatest runs in professional sports history, period. Like, it's unbelievable, right?
Listen, you have, before we close this out, everybody watching this, we go on every day from 10 to 10:30-ish. We're going to go to 10 to 11. Right now we're 10 to 10:30, running a little past time. But, there's two leaders, two different types of leaders, if you ask me, that you can call leaders. There's vocal leaders like Ray Lewis. They got it done on the field, and they were vocal. You need both. You got to get it done on the field, too. I mean, big-time leaders, right? On the field and extremely vocal. Put the show on for you. And then you have guys like Tom Brady, who they're vocal, but they're not like that energy. I'm a quarterback energy. You're going to go out there and use the hit stick energy, right? Those are your leaders. and then Trevor Lawrence, he's a leader, but he's a quiet energy guy. If he starts winning and winning and winning, if he wins a Super Bowl, he's going to gain respect. Yeah. But as far as the leader goes, a little more vocal, a little more energy. Jalen Hurts, love watching him, but he's got no energy. I don't know if it's because he's so confident or he's just trying to be relaxed out there so he can live to be 100 years old.
Personality.
It's just completely touchdown. Faces like, and then interception. Face like, it's confusing to me. And a lot of people are like, is he excited about this game? And he's got to be. I mean, he's in this massive contract. Brent, what do you think, before we sign off of here real quick, can the Steelers do anything different than they've been doing? What changes would you make? Would you say, hey, look, ride with this quarterback? Would you draft a quarterback? What would your position be on the quarterback position only before we end the live today?
Well, I think a good question to ask, too, as part of that is, do I think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs, right? And so that's sort of what you're long-term. I think you got to go another year with Kenny Pickett, and you got to see if he can get through and see what you got. I think you got to do that. I think with Mike Tomlin, you can trust he'll put him in the best situation. But I think that's what you got to do for next season. For this season, you got to get Kenny Pickett back, and you got to get in the playoffs. And look, we talked about it earlier. You can get in the playoffs. This is a mess right now. They can. There's some bad teams in front of you. There's some bad teams behind you. You can get in. And I think you need to get in to see what Kenny Pickett can do in the playoffs. And I think that'll be very important. Do I think the Steelers, I believe in the NFL, there's maybe 6 teams when you get into the playoffs that can win a Super Bowl, and it's kind of a toss-up at that point, right? Are the Steelers one of those 6? Probably not. But they can get in, and you can kind of see what you get from Kenny Pickett. I think that's what their focus should be. And I think, the Steelers fans will be very happy when they make the playoffs. They're not happy right now, but it's week 14, not week 18. They're okay. They got a month to go. Trust in Mike Tomlin, and you'll be there.
Brent, listen, thanks for having you guys. First, it's our 3rd live show, but first week going live. We'll be on here every single day, 10 to 10:30. We will expand eventually to 10 to 11. Brent, thanks for having you back on the show, bud. We'll see you again Monday.
Yep. Take care, man.
Guys, and to close this out, it really is difficult to see. Pittsburgh fans, they want to get him out of the game. They don't want Trubisky. They're waving the terrible towels as soon as he does something good. People are happy. They're not happy. There's a lot of drama going on in Pittsburgh. It's a great organization. Obviously, people want to see them pull it together. And remember, guys, tune in every day, 10 to 10:30, live Eastern Standard Time. Monday, we will start our first series of the hit list where we do the formal rundown after the weekend. Guys, thank you for watching. Until next time.